Hello and welcome to Mustache Empire. Last week, Uncle Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States of America. However, the big news in the UK wasn't the executive orders rolling back many of the Trump policies, such as the Keystone XL pipeline. It wasn't the blatant disrespect of the National Guard. It wasn't the escalations in Iraq and Syria. No, of course, it was the fact that Joe Biden decided to decorate his office. As we can see here, he has decided to replace the famous bust of Sir Winston Churchill with a bust of Cesar Chavez. Don't worry, it's not Hugo Chavez, although I'm sure that wouldn't shock many of us. Barack Obama famously replaced the bust of Sir Winston Churchill as well in 2008, with Boris Johnson slighting him, saying that this was because of an ancestral hatred towards the British Empire because of his part Kenyan ancestry. I believe that Joe Biden has ancestral hatred towards the British Empire because of his Irish ancestry. He was noted as stating to the BBC that he wouldn't talk to them because he was Irish. He has stated that his grandfather in fact was Irish and hated the British, and there has been a long line of spats between members of the Conservative Party and members of the Democratic Party over recent years, especially involving that of a Brexit Britain. Boris Johnson and 10 Downing Street have tried to downplay this fact, saying that he can decorate the office how he sees fit. However, I believe he's stuck between a bit of a rock and a hard place by trying to negotiate with a man who clearly despises not only Britain but a Brexit Britain, as well as trying to work with him, and he has stated that he will look to work with him on climate change, security and trade. There's also been sources close to Kamala Harris stating that if you think Joe hates Boris, then you should hear what Kamala has to say. Dominic Raab also recently left Nancy Pelosi on the phone for half an hour despite having a scheduled meeting, and so you can see that there are many rifts between members of the Conservative Party and the Democratic administration. It will, in my opinion, be very difficult for the Conservative Party to work with a Biden administration, especially since Biden is opposed to a Brexit Britain, with him stating in 2018 that had he been a British MP, he would have voted against Brexit, even though it was long after the referendum. He has said that he will look at some of the deals brokered by the Trump administration. This could actually mean something positive, as it could remove many of the tariffs implemented by the Trump administration in the trade deals between his office and Liz Truss's office, but it could also mean some negative things, as Liz Truss had managed to achieve some gains in areas of beef exportation and food exportation. However, my main focus is not going to be on the bust, nor the many indicators and signs of the Democratic Party of their anti-Brexit stance and their opposition to a comprehensive UK and US free trade deal. I think that any trade deal that will be achieved between the UK government and the US government will be on a sector-by-sector basis and will be after 2022, as Biden has made it abundantly clear he wants to focus on social and domestic policy instead of trade. I'm going to switch my focus, and I believe it is up to the blonde bombshell, the unsung hero of the Conservative Party, not Boris, Liz Truss, to switch her focus towards a Canada, Australia, New Zealand and UK comprehensive free trade deal, or CANZUK as this is otherwise known. This will encompass over 130 million people and involve over $9 trillion worth of GDP. I think this is a very ambitious and positive reach for the Conservative government and a post-Brexit Britain. Her department, along with the former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott, have been on a rampant campaign over recent years, achieving more than 60 free trade and continuation deals over recent years. This will likely be our largest and most comprehensive free trade deal with any countries, and as I said, will involve over $9 trillion worth of trade. I think it's a positive step for the working man, as it will more than likely decrease his cost of living, especially in the areas of energy, food and clothing, as all these areas are much cheaper in Australia, Canada and New Zealand, and the working man in the UK spends around 80% of his weekly wage on these free areas, and so I think it's a positive step for the working man. So to those people who said, what are the positives to come out of Brexit, this is exactly one of them. I also think that it's a very good idea for a free trade deal. It's not a political union like the European Union, it is instead something likened to the EEC and what it was originally intended to be, and that was to focus on increasing the freedom of goods and trade between allies. I think this is a better move for the UK government and a global Britain, as it shows that we have a moral and legal obligation, as well as a cultural and historical obligation to members of the Commonwealth. Not only do we share the same language, not only do we share the same monarchy, but we have a similar style of government, we have a similar judicial system, and Liz Truss has also been reported to be close to finalising a free trade deal between the UK and New Zealand, and it is said that this will provide the basis and stepping stones for a future CANZUK agreement. Liz Truss and Tony Abbott have been doing an exceptional job on trade in recent months. I look forward to more free trade deals. I think this trade deal can be achieved rather quickly, not least because of the similarities as mentioned earlier, but also because of the similarities on sectors such as healthcare. An example of a global Britain rather than the Little Englanders that so many Ramonas like Femi accused us of being. I think that this is a good deal, but I do want to hear from you what you think. Do you think that this is going to be a good comprehensive free trade deal, or do you think that it will be one that will throw us into political union, and when do you think that this will be achieved? I personally think that we have thrown off the shackles of European hegemony for the umpteenth time. Time to bring back the Anglo gang. Keep up the good work, Liz Truss. You've been watching Moustache Empire. I've been James Pan. Please do like, comment and share the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.